and bringing that kingdom beat. You hear it? Y'all hear that word? You see it? You feel it? Do you even know it to recognize it? Or are you allowing your ducks to be cluttered with your, or allowing your ears and eyes to be in mind to be cluttered with the world and everything that's going on with Democrats that ain't no good, or Republicans that ain't no damn better? Every day is something with that. If it ain't that, you got the toxic movement. Those that have to constantly come on here and explain toxicity and how people are toxic towards them, which I understand, but at the same time, you got to heal, family. You can't continue to carry hurt every day and build this avatar through those means, because then what you're producing won't be reflective of courage. You know what I'm saying? In the face of adversity, you want to show your courage, your strength. Yeah, you're gonna have trials and tribulations. It's gonna be a hard time, but you're gonna press through. That's showing courage. That's healing. The past is the past. We gotta move on. Me as well. Me as well. I'll be the first to say me. But tonight I want to talk about the Most High. And if you listen to the word and what it's expressing, you got we gotta learn to define words, first of all. Define these words so that we can have an understanding of what we're reading and why we're reading. And understand that they have a spiritual connection that's connected to real life. It's not a just a book you read, but this is real life. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we should move. And it's based on, think about it. You've awakened. You're not following the world as in its systems and corporations, businesses and corporations. No, you're following the direction and spirit of the Most High. You're being guided by the Eternal One, which looks different. It won't look corporate or Christian or Muslim or none of that. It's not going to look that. And as an awakened, chosen servant of the Most High, that's something you have to learn to discern. Our people need to learn to discern that and understand it when we're reading and studying, that's a sign of pressing towards the mark. Because whether we realize it or not, what you're reading is God's actual word, which is alive right now, right now, according to the Spirit. If you don't believe it, test it, which you have to. Our people are waking up. I was listening to one of the young brothers earlier, not too long ago, actually, before I got in the shower. And he was discussing how he had, oh, I know what shirt on. Let me look at my Hebrew Israelite shirt, but he had on a shirt with the name Yahuwah in the Tetragrammaton, in the Paleo, and Yahushua in the Paleo. I'm like, that's what's up, young bud. But the point he was making was the state of the church today in our communities. Like I've always said, you got 4 or 5 churches on one block, but not one church is talking about who the actual people in those scriptures are and what's being spoken to them. Don't know preachers preach that. They're gonna tell you, yeah, uh, 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 roundabout. They're gonna give you a roundabout understanding, but they're not gonna take it to the source, which is Israel. You can't apply that word to a religion when that word is strictly leading you to one source. You say you want to walk this narrow road, but you looking through the lenses of somebody else interpretation instead of getting in that book yourself, reading that book and really studying it to feel you for direction, you know, for guidance, for wisdom. Wisdom is greater than gold. That's not a cliche, family. That's the truth. And as the Most High people, you're gonna have to start challenging that. I see myself, especially with these churches. You got all these churches, and I'll be walking when I'm going through life. You know, the Most High is always at the forefront. I'm thinking on Him and His Word, and how I can translate that into reality without falling off. Because it's easy, family. When the whole world seems like they're against the truth, people don't want the truth. And when we reject it, I'll be like, do they know what they rejected? And I'm not coming to you in a pressing way. I just like to talk about the word, stories of the Bible. There's been an awakening in me that I can't put it to sleep, family. You know, just wake up one day and be like, oh no, I don't read the Bible no more. I didn't believe the Bible. Like you got a lot of people coming on here talking about, well, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite anymore. Like I can never stop being a Hebrew Israelite, family. Now that my eye of understanding, my mind's eye have been awakened through the scriptures, through the word, because what I'm telling you, I can read. I'm glad I got that Bible. Let me bring it out. I can read out the scripture. Hold on, let me go check my verse before I get the key. Get cussed out. But these things, that understanding is guided through scripture. That's the only way you're gonna get it. Who are you listening to? Good, you feel real good. Who is that? That am now. These who my woman listen to, y'all. Oh, that am now.
Tell them that you got your rent.
I ain't got all my rent yet. No, I don't have it all yet. I'm gonna get it. I just said I was late.
It's
Who's
Monday.
that, friend? Who is that? That's Day. Why you always do that? And you know, sometimes I do that. You shouldn't even. All that is unnecessary. That's Day. Promise what? Trina, you ain't the only one paid win here, baby. You tripping. You tripping. Mm-mm. No, you not. It's every month. I guess I do have to pick it up. I guess it will make sense. Plus, I'm paying a late fee every month. I don't look at it like that because I'm not connected to none of that. I'm really not. All I know is to get it. Now, keeping up with the time, I'm not good with that. I'm not good with that. I admit it. No, I'm not. But I get it done. I get it done. As far as keeping track of time, no, I'm not good with that at all. I admit. But all that, like you, man, come on. You can't supposed to be on the team pushing because it always comes through. But sometimes some people be looking for a reason to do things a certain way. But she do watch her credit score. She watch her credit score. But shit, I might well get out and get my own place because I don't. Y'all deserve me telling y'all follow the system. And I'm not walked out. I couldn't be mad at her. And I wouldn't worry. Not that I hate her, I don't want to be with her, but I understand. I ain't making no, hey, I have no fight. because the fact I know what I got carries me. No problem, okay? It ain't gonna be on no clock, like, keeping track with all that so you can. And yeah, it becomes a problem for those who do because we on different tracks. Maybe it's time I move on. Our track is one way because first of all, and then I don't need you talking shit to me because my rent always 16th or 17th last minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? I pay my rent, okay, time, and I respect that. But back fuck up off me. I ain't mad at you. I got something to pay my rent somewhere else. So I'm not gonna argue with you. It is what it is. That's how you feel. I can't get mad at you. But that's how I roll. I'm self-employed. I just had to talk about that earlier. I could tell one of the brothers he but just so happens I do know how to diagnose cars with or without a scammer. And when you've been behind the eight ball, because there's never been no whole bunch of money there. Well, you know what I'm saying? I never had a credit card and all that stuff. So it's always been, okay, you got to be more creative this way. It's not that I don't go out there every day to do it. Yeah, you can approach it in a more sophisticated manner so you can and make better offers, a more structured manner because when people see now see I don't get that because the people I know, they know. People vouch for me. I don't know all these people I deal with, but I have a lot of people that vouch for me because they trust what I do. Like I said, maybe I should be more uniform, like I was expressing to my buddy earlier. I'm like, bro, if maybe if y'all brought me the oil changes, the brake jobs, you're gonna get that once a month. You appreciate what I'm doing. Well, why don't you invest in it? Well, maybe I should start a group. I thought of starting a group like that before. Start a group where I can, make sure I'm on point. They have a mechanic on call. You got your own personal tech on call. Come out, diagnose if the customer, like I dealt with a fella today. I was supposed to win the scene before I came in, but I'll catch him tomorrow. I went in, his truck went down. The battery went down. Shit, he don't want his truck down. I don't blame him. That's his choice. So he called me, come get me, man. And he like, I'm like, okay, I'll make sure it gets started and I'm out. He's like, no, you go get the car, put the car up. When it's time for me to come home, I'll come and get you. He trusts me with his car. That's like even my man's one love to the king with his Cadillac truck. He came to get it done today. See, these things the other side don't see. And all they see is, okay, damn, like my lady. She don't see that. And that was that was towards, that money definitely was going towards. But people don't see. So, yeah, maybe I should make more offers. But a lot of people I see, I don't, mm-mm, it's not that consistency like that. And then a lot of these young people I deal with, brothers and sisters, is hard. And they making choices and putting them above. In most cases, we paying the cars, and some people might be using their credit. A lot of people use credit. They might not have that cash. So they use credit. Then you got a lot of events that came up. A lot of people haven't seen since prom. And then I get the calls, but some calls are empty. And I'm like, okay, time is passing. You gotta do something else. You're gonna have to split your time. Speed it up, which that's why people deal with me too. Because you bring them, I'm getting them in and knocking them straight out. But today my man brought his caddy. I was supposed to put a belt on it. He got a 2021 caddy truck. I was supposed to put a belt on it. I charged him $1. I'm like $100. I'm like, but I couldn't. He wanted me to put on not his serpentine belt, but that thing comes with an individual belt, like the earlier model cars had a the serpentine belt that connected the components, and then it had the compressor belt probably ran on the V belt connected to the crankshaft, which is a bigger shaft. But yeah, fam, I missed that job because when he brought it, I'm looking at it, looking over it, which I normally had 2 hours to deal with the car. First of all, I didn't even have 2 hours. It was after 2 o'clock, so I only had an hour and a half. But the thing was, I looked in there from the video. My man had already taken the fan out, so that portion of it I didn't, which I didn't have time no way. But anyway, as I got to looking over it, I noticed the belt was off, and I'm looking. I grabbed the hose for it. The I grabbed the hose, the high pressure end hose for the AC, the compressor, and the AC system, and it was loose, which he had a water pump put on soon. So I'm like, you need to take that car back to who put that water pump on there. Now I could have been thirsty, dogmatic, which you see my girl like, I don't want to hear that. It's the 7, you ain't got it yet. You lied. Which I understand. But like I said, you don't see everything, to my defense. She right, but you don't see everything I'm dealing with. So I'm like, no, this afternoon, take the truck back to the people. He called the people, let them know, look, I'm over here with my man. We looking at the truck, and I noticed my compressor is loose. Y'all just took the water pump off, which the water pump is connected to the compressor, which it is. That's a brand new freaking truck. So I know all the little fixtures that they have connected each like component. They have a rubber fixture or some plastic molding or something, to attach. If you're a mechanic, you know this. You know the terrain. You know these automobiles, how they design. You know this. You know what I'm saying is true. So I'm like, no, take it back. He called him back and told him, and the guy well, I'm kind of busy right now. And like, okay, you dealt with it. He has a problem, bring it back. But he was like, okay, bring it tomorrow. And I told him. So that's $1 I missed. I'm like, damn. Then I got the white car back. Yeah, that job I just did worth two something. So that dollar is down the drain, but the white car not because I got the car back. Why? What I did, I put on two rear brake cylinders. They good. Ran a new brake line, connected everything. Bam, boom. Shit, he came and got the car yesterday. That's why I made that video yesterday talking about it. I probably put that on my Facebook. I doubt I know I put it on my YouTube because I want my videos on my YouTube so people can go look them up. And I had a bunch of people. I had a few people tell me, "Man, I like your videos. Keep pushing them. They give me inspiration. I'm not a mechanic, but I build my courage and go out there and get things done myself in most instances. Like I said, I want to make videos for that. They got memory chips and send them straight to them. You know, with different aspects of repairs. But the Cadillac I missed this evening, so I'm like, shit. The white car come back. The brake line break in the back. They got a brake line running. It's a Nissan. What a Nissan car, a little funny hatchback thing. I don't know the name of that thing. But the brake line, which is rusty, it broke. The owner called me last night. It's like, man, the brake's going to the floor almost. I'm like, huh? Bull crap. When I left, that brake was hard as hell. Everything was tight, solid. I double checked what I did. My dad like, you sure the line ain't busting up? I'm like, shit, this before I jacked it up and realized what was wrong with it. So I'm like, okay, leave the car. We'll throw another line on there in the morning. We're going to get the line. But there go 200. I'm like, okay. I understand what woody woody woo. But I'm like, y'all gotta have faith. You can't just come to a conclusion when you dealing with movers and shakers. Yeah, you could say my money be late according to the timing, but my money come. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no woman that's gonna allow you just sit on your ass around this motherfucker, and she gonna bring you video games and weed and buy your clothes and all. Hell fucking no. She don't play that motherfucking shit. And I got my own business I'm running. She like, you need to get a job. It's just not it's just not successful. It ain't prospering like that. You need to get a job too. I'm like, huh? Okay, now I'm making decisions where it's like, okay, she tripping. She ain't in it like, and I don't expect her to be in it like that. But now I got to make a choice. It's either my business and running with it, or give it up, the relationship and being on time paying things. Which I did have a job. To my defense, I had a good ass job. I missed that job. I always get them checks. That 800 a week was good money, fam. Plus, I was able to get my children money. I'm like, every check, I'm like, what the hell? Why them bastards fired me? But that's their place of business. They don't owe me nothing. I just be going through a lot of shit. It's like people. But I understand that there's a greater that's at work behind, because the Most High chooses for you to prosper. He don't choose for you to be going through, especially when you got a good heart for his people. I used to complain like, God dang, why I got to get people that don't. People I deal with, they got money, but shit, we ain't got no whole bunch of money. A lot of people, and I know better because I understand finances, bro. A lot of people using credit. That shit ain't finance. It's a means to an ends, but that shit ain't concrete, family. You borrowing off ass. You know what? That's what the folks used to say. You catch you borrowing off ass, it's gonna whoop your ass. Ain't no borrowing off ass. You borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, all that shit. Hell no. So what do we do? That's why I know to get creative, because it's in me. Messing with the guys when I was, plug, I'm old now and I'm retired from that, but shit, when I was in it thick, man, we didn't play that. The nation didn't play no shit like that. And you got your ass up and work. Y'all listen to these white people telling y'all all this bullshit, which I see there are some bad actors that's out there. And you will automatically take for granted that, okay, these dudes represent what these represent. No, the fuck they ain't. That's a lie, because we progressive. You know what I'm saying? We about business. In the end, yeah, it might not be on time, but it's coming. I guarantee you that. And yes, I'm gonna be mindful of that. I self-check myself before I allow things to just. But I'm choosing me and what the Most High gave me, because at the end of the day, yeah, I love my lady, but shit. I ain't blindsided by the woo woo. I know reality. People be chasing that type stuff, and you don't fit the bill to them. Then that's when shit start happening. To be aware is to be alive. I ain't saying my baby gonna go out there and be fucking around, but all that attitude, and it comes like clockwork every month. I'm not fucking living off you. Black women don't allow that type shit. Shit, these black women won't even help in most cases. If you running a legit business, they gonna be like, hell no. When you broke, is you broke. But once you become successful, shit start hitting. You become successful, because guess one thing for certain, two things for sure. You can start that business, and you really about it. You 10 toes down. You don't give up. I mean, you stay down, because it's not going to be as easy as you think, especially if you're not dealing with these corporations. You ain't dealing with these bankers. That means you got to be creative. You got to be on it, round the clock on it. And see, what I got with these hands, and how I figure out these problems and get to these cars and make shit happen, I got it, man. I just don't have no supporting cast. No. When you post, it's you. When you wealthy, it's us. Yup. And that's on me. That ain't if I allow people around me with low that's operating at a low frequency and don't see, that's why I stick to the Bible because I see myself in there. I know who the Most High talk to, and I take that and allow that to fuel me in everything I think, in the way I think, and how I move, and how I deal with others. Because it's a structure, it's an order structure, and you follow it as a checks and balance. It adds up. It'll work. It's law. But I think a lot of people take that shit personal. You have a knowledge of self and being able to navigate without having to settle for jobs or what everybody else is doing. People would take that personal, like you think you better than somebody. Like, I don't think I'm better than nobody. I aspire to be better than every goddamn body. Hell, you talking about if I follow his instruction to a T, then I should be one of the greatest in the kingdom. Christ gave you instruction on how to be that, how you will be called great in the kingdom. The kingdom is functioning now. What are y'all waiting on? I know if I follow his word and keep his commandments, which are his instructions, with that love and allow his spirit to lead and guide me like it does, not Wayne, but him. That's how I'm able to deal with life no matter what's going on because I be wanting to snap, crackle, and pop. I'm a bug. I'll bug up in a minute too. But then you prepare yourself, you discipline yourself. I've been in situations where I had to discipline my mind, regenerate my thoughts with good thoughts, progressive thoughts, thoughts that would develop. Okay, excuse me, I'm eating a burger. I mean, my burger. I'm still making my video. But yeah, everybody's so wrapped up around the world of self autonomy. Self autonomy is the way. And I ain't the only one that's living off getting it straight from the mud. Trust me, it come, but it ain't gonna come according to their time. Every month, like clockwork. But yeah, I need to reorder, structure some things. I had another brother call that wanted me to put a coolant temperature sensor on his truck. He ain't show up. Then tonight before I left, some of the neighbors. Can you look at my cup of wine? I should have charged their ass $10, $20. That money add up because You ain't going to no shop and they just looking at your car. But that's how I deal with my people. Now doing extensive diagnosis, yeah, I'm gonna charge you. You come to receipt book. Now if there's something you just want me to look at for you, oh, can you check this out? There's some accommodate you. But you want me to explain and this and that. I'm gonna need a cash app. And that I don't stand on, and that can help in the overall scheme of things. But that's what I offer my people. And they fuck with me, but some of them a little spoiled. Like yesterday, I was getting feedback about a price I gave somebody. I'm like, bro, I give y'all a fucking, basically a free ride. I gotta take care of my business. Shit, I ain't hear nothing else. I'm call you back. Okay, still love. I ain't mad. She want me to get that bread. I wish I was still hustling. That bread stayed up. But I had to grow up. You had to get off the streets. I'm seeing too many little homies get killed. Too many of the homies getting killed. And still getting killed. They waking up, but still connected. 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You can go through my community and ask these young people from my man, look, everywhere my footprint is. You ask them that know me, they're gonna tell you, yeah, I know we the Israelites. A lot of them reading and studying. But I'm like, I just heard a preacher preaching about that too. If you don't warn, Son of Man, the Most High has made you a watchman. Warn the people of what He conveys to you. What do you, when you're in the vineyard in His rest, are you studying His word so you can learn more of Him, know His mind, how He thinks? That's His word. They look at it as a religion talking about this and that, but that's the infallible word of God. When you go into the Hebrew, the rich origin of the language, family, stop playing. It far exceeds your religion. Your religion is not even in the book. I promise you it's not. Even to the Hebrew Israelite that swept down, Christ came and started religion of Christianity. I don't think so. You add or take away from this, yeah, they said, and they were first called Christians in Antioch. But you better understand the time period. That was the people that was indifferent. Judah was gone, so I mean Israel was gone, Judah was there. Benjamin and Levi, they hadn't got ran out of there yet. These are the sons of Jacob, the descendants of the 12 tribes. The sons of Jacob. And some of that mixed multitude that came out with it. Mm-hmm. But you're gonna get a lot of pushback when you say that. I'm like, no, that was just descendants of Jacob. No, it wasn't, and they wasn't separated. But until they learned the law, there was one law for natural born, and the same for the others that believed on the Most High, believed on His word, and kept His commandments. I was sitting here doing a print. I'm finna cut that boy. That boy look good. It's ready. I'm gonna put it on my Bible here. But The Bible speaks to us. It speaks about us. When you read that Bible, listen to this. Read Deuteronomy 28, but when you read 28, you got to read 32 because the whole entirety, the message is in both chapters. I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 28, then I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 30. Damn, right there. Oh, that's because I got the marker set there. Deuteronomy 28. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I have commanded thee this day, that Yahuwah thy Elohim will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So you have to go back into time and understand that when it was addressed, when they were being educated on the word that was spoken and instruction given from the Creator that chose them to be his people, they all agreed, irregardless to subsequently down the line breaking the covenant and perverting with idolatry. And the Most High judging them, allowing judgment to judge them, because he doesn't have to do a thing. His word is already established. Instruction and correction, judgment when you break his instruction, when you rebel from the king's instruction. It was given to you from the start. When he said, and you shall rule, and I created A, B, C, and D, and E, and you shall rule and have dominion over it, and replenish it, and have dominion over it like he did. Because why? You are him. Verse 2, Deuteronomy 28. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim. And they did, family. They hearkened to his voice, and they received a blessing. They went into the land of milk and honey, baby, and they lived. You're talking about a monarchy, a ruling family that's still a monarchy. And they coming back together. That's why you have a takeover spirit. Let that takeover spirit be connected to the truth of God's word. Not to rule over a man, but to rule over what you build that's connected to the kingdom through your hands. Verse 3. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. The ancestors were mightily blessed. Even when they walked through the lands of Africa, they were made wealthy from the things that they were given from the leaders because of the feats. Feats as in things they were doing. Interpreting dreams. Joseph interpreted dreams. He became second in command because the God of Israel is a living Elohim, and his word is true. When Pharaoh went to his own magicians and astrologers and spiritual people who he thought had the Ruach of truth, which is Yahuwah, through that word that was spoken from the beginning, the commands have always been there. You just don't care to know them. They've always been there. But understand, they had the kingdom unlocked to them. The Most High supplied them. Understand, when you first build your house, because this is his assembly. This is his house. These are his people. They make up the kingdom of Israel. These are his servants, the first. Now, that don't exclude others. I'm not saying that. I'm just contextually, we're talking about his servants, whom he chose to represent the kingdom of heaven, who received this covenant. This covenant is given to one people, but others can come and share in it. That's why you have all these other religions now, because they don't know the truth. Some will open this book and read it and be like, all this ascribing it to men today. Yes, it applies to you, but what was set in eternity is what you're reading. And it's to be translated just in heaven, so in heaven, as it is, as in heaven, so let it be in earth. That's our purpose. And with that purpose comes equity. You have an authority. You are an authority figure. That's why we're royalty, because we connected to the Most High, the King of Kings. You are born royalty natural. Now you have to get the knowledge, get this wisdom, start practicing, and it will raise you up. But you got to follow his instruction. It's based on you. Obedience is greater than sacrifice. And the so called Negro that's scattered into the four corners of the earth, yes, we are. You are the Hebrew Israelites. You have to get in the book, start studying yourself. It's good to gather yourselves together. If you're in a camp or a group, hey, that's your thing. Gather yourself together. But don't in them camps and groups and assemblies think that you are higher than, you know, like if you don't follow this way, the way our leader teach, then no, there's only one teacher. That's the Holy Spirit. That word is the instruction. And that spirit that's behind it is going to guide you in the way that you should go. Don't worry about if heaven is really is. You don't have to question that. You questioning the wrong things. I had to learn myself. You live and you learn. Even if, say, me and my lady divide. Okay, you lived and learned that what? You shouldn't, I live and learn that I shouldn't be living with nobody. Have your own and move your own way, because what I present to an owner, or maybe I may become an owner myself, but I know that's not going to happen, because just as the Most High said, you will have these blessings and these curses will come on you. Let me read Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. Speaks about the blessings that will come over you when our ancestors accepted the covenant and walked according to it. That's what happened. And it still applies to the day, because these words, this covenant and how it's applied to the people is cyclical. It'll never stop going forth. Long as Israel is here, and they'll never get rid of us. The Most High King ain't gonna eat. Long as there's a heaven, if you can count what he said, if you can count the stars in heaven, the distance from the heavens to the earth, and the space in between, all that's in between, then he'll do away with Israel. I don't think you can do it. I know they can't. You can let them tell you that bullshit about millions of miles or this or that and that. Man, I don't listen to none of that. I listen to, because the Most High gives definite. His word is concrete. He gave Noah specific. Even, yeah, Moses and them too. When they were building, he gave all Israel instruction on how to build, measurements, everything. So we understand the Most High is right and exact. So, but when you get to Deuteronomy 15, it tells you if you don't, but it shall come to pass, if thou would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, you got a whole list of from verse 16 on to 68. You can go to 64. Let's just, no, I'm not even going to read some of them. But verse 45 and 46, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments, which are instructions, and his statutes, which he commanded thee. Verse 46, this the kicker. Because that's how I know he's talking to us, family. The signs are there. The Most High is a spirit, and they who worship him in spirit and in truth. And he's gonna, what's signified by him, the way it's gonna be signified through him is by signs and wonders. If you don't understand, pray for clearance. Pray for clarity. Pray for discernment, so you will be able to understand things of the spirit. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and on thy seed forever. That happened to the so-called Negroes, so that's telling you something as a people. You need to repent and return to the Most High, and not run into no church that ain't doing nothing to establish God's kingdom. They established the American rule of order, or the Pope's rule of order. That's who controlled Christians, the Pope. And they running back now. All your big Christians, they been plugged back in. You ain't see them go over there and kiss the ring. They went and kissed the Pope ring. All of them. Verse 30. Deuteronomy chapter 30. This is the redemption plan for after he scattered you. He's going to regather whom those he scattered. So people can argue, and the church, who we call the church, because the church is the assembly, the gathered assembly, those who are gathered unto Yahuwah through his Mashiach, which is Yahushua, whom the world call Jesus the Christ. Mashiach means anointed one, the Christ. What they translated into Greek, Christ, Christos. Well, in the Hebrew, that word Christos comes from the Hebrew origin, which is Mashiach, the anointed one, the Holy One of Israel. Deuteronomy 30, which speaks also to once. Let's let the word speak. Let me let the word speak. And it's Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God have driven thee. I just said we've been scattered into all nations. You find Negroes that were scattered from the continent of Africa, but neglect whose ancestors were. Because when you do the DNA test, it's going to take you there. But I will be careful with that. I never given them my DNA. I do my research through my family. Your family know where y'all came from. And then you can go and connect. Eventually you'll connect, but you know that you're his people through these signs. Do I know a tribe out of Africa? No. But I know he came out of Africa. My granddad's granddad, my granddad's dad was on slave ships. He was a servant to these heathens, unfortunately. Deuteronomy 30, verse 1. This shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curses, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee. Verse 2. And shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. When they was given this covenant, these words were spoken. They were in the wilderness going before they went to the land. Read Deuteronomy, begin at verse chapter 1. You did verse 3. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee. Don't you see all these Negroes around the world waking up and telling you who they are? There's one group of people in the midst of everybody. And why do I read this? Because it resonates. And I'm going to continue to read these two, Deuteronomy 28 and 30, because they speak in many layers that we have yet to uncover. They're being unfolded, they're being realized on a daily. Our people are waking up around the world in record numbers. All praise to the Most High. And it's not a joke. And me, I'm responsible for where I'm at. My light should be, yeah, it shines, but it needs to shine brighter. That's why I don't get into the activities of the world. Yeah, you hear a lot of them proclaim that they, love the Father and follow Christ and truth, but they follow the world. They get up and go work for the world. No, Genesis 1. These people realizing who they are. You can come out of the world, replace that with the truth. Because in Genesis 1, he told you a whole lot. He gave you a lot. He gave you a blueprint. Genesis 1 is your blueprint. Verse 26. Genesis 1, verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Verse 27. So God created man in his own image. You hear that? In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So you have the spirit of the living God in you. You're alive, so you know he's alive. Verse 28. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it. You have to rule this joint family and have dominion. That's rulership, that's power. Heavenly power. It ain't going to come through getting the highest education or getting a degree or none of that. You got to get that stuff. That's going to be released when you're in alignment with Source, Yahuwah, over the and keeping his covenant. Know the covenant, understand it, and work it. That's your birthright over the fish of the sea. And that's what's going to open your eyes, and that's going to lead us to self-autonomy. Right now, we need to be coming together, family, no matter if you understand with the Hebrews or not. Black people as a whole need to come together so we can help one another in a more impactful way, not just through our gifts, but on a daily basis. We work to build one another. I do it every day, family. I don't rely on the world and they short what that little old change they giving people. Hell no, you're gonna give me some contracts. And I will bring what I have to offer to the table so I can bring my crew with me. Other than that, I can employ myself. I got the knowledge. I know how to work it. I work it every day. And I give it more so than I sell it. If you knew how many people I help, but at the end of the day, that ain't the solution. It ain't that you got a good heart. You got to operate and be able to manage that thing. The Most High gave you. That's like when the master left and he gave his servants talent, and the one buried the one he had. Remember, the Most High took that and they destroyed him. Because he didn't multiply what he gave him. Even if he gave you, like he said, one gold bar, 1 ounce of gold. You take that gold and invest it. Just invest it, whether it doubles or not, or you lose it. Invest it. Try it. Don't be afraid, because he's gonna want to know what you did with it. But when you invest in the right thing, as long as you investing in the right thing and doing the right thing with it, you will prosper. You're not gonna lose. I know that for a fact. Without taking a shortcut, you will win. What I got with this knowledge with cars, family, stop playing with me. I'm supposed to be balling out of control. But maybe I was too arrogant to say, hey, I can come out of the world and still function based on these principles that our Heavenly Father has given me, which are His commandments, His instruction. Commands are instructions. Just like when you go to purchase something and you have to build it or anything like that, it comes with a book of instruction, paperwork. And paperwork is going to instruct you on how things operate, or how to put it together. Like I do with these cars. I get my expertise is used every day. I have an expertise in automotive technology. You bringing me your car is a is an asset. Having me as a technician is an asset. I'm thorough, hardworking, dedicated, and I actually have a love for my people where I don't try to rob my people, you know. But yet, what I do has been sufficient. I ain't gonna lie, it's been sufficient. I'm just not with all that timely world stuff. But I get busy with mine. I know what I got, family. And sometimes, yeah, I run into a jam. It's not a jam, I run short. Shit. I don't have credit and all that I can use. Do I owe? I owe two bills for phones, and they come out to six something. Other than that, I don't got nothing. No. So, shit, I can pay them and be moving, and I can still get active with them. They want me to use credit. They test that. They tell Dwayne, I got an F in usage of credit. Who the fuck? Like, who do that? Who get that? Because I never used it. They like, we don't even know what you capable of, bro. I never chose to have you get a credit card. And then when I did want to, I was going to do a secure card. But shit, the money you get, if you're not prospering on a daily, making some form of cash daily, and not trust me, I'll be in there thinking of ways. I'll be like, okay, instead of doing the break jobs for to the letter, give them a little wiggle room. Maybe that'll generate some, consistency. That shit don't generate consistency. Then I start paying attention to the type of people I'm dealing with. These people don't get jobs. And they do good in where they at, but as far as maintaining cars is few and far in between. And then sometimes shit, they don't mean they're gonna be loyal because you give them a good price. So you might as well price your stuff at market price. Put a price on it. And people gotta understand you riding a car. Anything on that car gonna cost you $100. You want oil change, $100. That ain't even including the oil. That's just labor. You want brake jobs? That's 100 per axle. It used to be 89, 99 per axle. I guarantee it's 100 or better per axle. So when somebody charge you $100 just for the front, how you tripping? Yeah, they might charge you a deuce for the back, depending on if you got hydraulic or drum brakes. Drum brakes, they're gonna charge you more automatically. But how the numbers I give my people, it shouldn't be no. I'm embarrassed to say them. So I'm like, shit, I might as well charge top dollar, offer the product, get you a good product. You I got a retail license, so find a product and get it and offer it. Get the list of the customers you're gonna be servicing. Get the brake pads, get the rotors, get brake hoses. No, you don't want to do that. Just get the pads. I can take a chance on the pads and rotors because if all fails, whoever I'm dealing, now I'm not taking shit back. I'm gonna buy them and sell them, but I won't go buy no cheap shit. Get with a good company and who got top value, mid value, and just basic economy value. You know what I'm saying? For the blue collar worker. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But I be thinking, I'm like, okay, but I got to get back into pulling engines. Them are the jobs. And I pull engines by myself. I got another call too, which I didn't mention from my cousin. He want an alternator put on his truck. I look at that thing, I'm like, bruh, I'm telling myself, shit, that job is every bit of that alternator, every bit of two, close to $300. But I know in the dealer, I remember I was telling y'all, my neighbor, they wanted $5,000. But it wound up when I diagnosed the car to figure what it was, it wound up not being the alternator. We corrected the situation, which was I'm like, what the? So I'm like, yeah, you undercutting yourself. And people, oh well, you ain't the dealership. Well, you getting the same guarantee. If I break something, you bring that thing to me, and you gonna be talking about I'm gonna fix it, or you gonna be dragging me in claims court suing me for the damages and whatever else you tack on. So no, brother is coming with his A game. I've never been through that. Even if I messed up something, I paid to get it fixed. I didn't sit around and argue, even if it was a lie to a degree. But since I was the source of it, no, go and pay this motherfucker. Take care of that. You got your name on what you doing. You ain't. It ain't like you can sell somebody like these badass drug dealers. They know they got badass drugs, but they'll still get out there. Like what the hell? I remember them days when I was selling coke. I would take that shit and recook it and bring it back straight glass. I'll kid you not. I'm like, no, you wasn't sticking with that. I'll never forget my man used to be like, why you recook it? What you mean? You gonna lose? No, I ain't. It's already lost. They didn't stretched it and all that. I used to be like, oh wow. Go right back in the kitchen. Throw my Gucci on and I'm in the kitchen cooking. On everything. I used to be mad, but what I brought out of their family, let me tell you something. When I was in the field, shit, I commanded my respect, family. I stayed, my shit stayed hot. My phone stayed moving. Around the clock, I stayed moving. Around the clock. And you know how you get kind of, I ain't gonna lie, I got kind of spoiled. I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't out here hurting nobody, but I was getting money. Real street money. Real, able to move and going places that others just won't imagine going. Even still to this day, family. But that's not my claim to fame. My claim to fame is how I repented and came out of all that, and now we serving the Most High, even when they throwing daggers. Brothers and sisters gonna question everything. A lot of people I deal with now, they see me on the book, they see me all through these, through the streets. When I'm speaking of self autonomy. Let's come together, man. Let's build something. If we don't do it, who the hell gonna do it? These white folk ain't gonna give you shit. How you win against all that is apply self autonomy. You do it yourself and your foundation. Let it be. People keep talking about, well, we can't. What you can't just follow the Bible. What you mean you can't just follow the Bible? Don't you always call God when something going wrong? That's your creator. Why not? That's your blueprint. That's how we overcome the world. When you calling people for herbs, where you think the herbs came from? That's Genesis 1. I just read it in 28. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. He gave you herbs. Read it. He gave you fruits. You know what I'm saying? He gave you vegetables. All this stuff with seeds that grow within itself. I seen an article earlier talking about, I don't know, it's a caption. I didn't read the whole story. It was something like a little caption. One of them old, what they call it, gaslighting ass captions, headline. Eating seeded fruit or cause, and it was cut off. I ain't even hit the face of the phone and pull up the rest of it. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. As long as the seeds is natural, because The seeds even have healing properties in them. Like, stop trying to go against Genesis 1. That's what you're trying to do. Anybody that's talking about naturopathic healing through herbs and things like that, like, it's not important. It don't matter. You're foolish. It matters because it's the infallible word of the Most High. Now, you could tell that to a religious person, and they might go along with you just for conversation's sake, and they want friends. But we ain't having that over here. We believe the word. We'll go through the earth establishing the word. That's who I am, family. You know, yeah, I used to be G Wayne. I'm still G Wayne, God's Wayne. You know what I'm saying? I should make that shirt. Because everybody gonna be like, what up, G Wayne? I'll be like, get this nigga here. What you on? Bro, you know I'm out here trying to save lives. I ain't trying to take no lives. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, call me G Wayne. That's God's Wayne. G Wayne. God's warrior. Okay? God's wisdom. And there you go, right there. G Wayne. GW. They gonna see that GW. Godly wisdom. Then they can associate that. Go, I'm gonna make that shirt. I got this print. Y'all check this here. My girl show said, you don't be nobody be on your lives. That's cool. They gonna start popping. They gonna come. They gonna see the real. And then I'm not pushing commercialized. You get attention by being commercial. I can't be commercial. I can be as raw and authentic. Then I've been doing it. I ain't no YouTuber that just came on here that don't understand or know the times. You know, I'm a real man, a real servant of the Most High that's doing real work, and it's reflective. Everywhere I go, they gonna tell you, "Oh, Wayne, yeah, that's one of God's. That's one of God's chosen. He's special, and I don't mean in a bad way. And I try to be. I don't think I'm better than nobody, but I try to be as godly as I could be, great in the kingdom of heaven. That's how I see the world, as the kingdom, and it's my job to establish that rule, that order, that life, live that life, family. It's gonna show up. It's gonna show up every day. I'll be thinking like, man, I'm so tired of these goddamn people. And my customers is gonna, I'm so tired of these damn cars. I want to go out there like I be seeing the guys out there street preaching. Y'all just don't know. Make me a line of clothes, go out there and street preach. And they'll understand without a shadow of a doubt once they see those designs I make. They're strictly pointing to who you are and what hour we in and what we should be, what I believe, according to the word, we should be doing as far as serving our Elohim, just like our ancestors, but the right way. You ain't got to run around with, you ain't got to run around here thinking you holier than thou, but you can surely live according to the customs of the Creator freely. You know, people would love to see that. They do. Even though we get naysayers, the naysayers, once they see the gathering, and like I said, it's my duty to gather those that, because that's what I speak, and I've spoken, and that word have affected a lot of people. A lot of people reading, a lot of people and tapped in, and it was in them already. But then they see G Wayne, and they like, oh man, G Wayne in that. Oh yeah. Now they might try to come from a Moorish perspective, and I'm like, no, that ain't it. Our tribe is Judah family, and we don't mix the two. Like a lot of the brothers follow the Islam. You know, they believe in the tenements of more science or Islam. And I'm like, peace God, but it's only one instructor, one lawgiver. I don't get that when I'm reading that book. I'm getting that in the beginning was the word, and that word represents the Mashiach, come in the flesh. That's not no mystery. It's a mystery to those that don't know, but to those that's given to know, which are the natural, we supposed to know and be able to defend that. Not to try to hurt others, but to establish the word. It's like if we had a fraternity or something, and we was working towards goals, providing and protecting our people and building for us. But this here is greater. This is greater. This is God's word. I heard, who was that? The Saint. I was watching this video and he had a couple of Hebrews on there. And brother expressed to him that he asked him, well, say we believe it, this is what it is. Now, what do we do? And he expressed to him, well, we start keeping his commandments, live according, come together, come out of the world, come together, build, because you got to understand, you in the kingdom of heaven. You represent the kingdom of heaven. You represent success to his highest of highest. You know, so that has to be reflected in everything you do, which through self-autonomy. It's not going to come through trying to take America because we feel this our land. No, disconnect from all that and connect through the spirit through one another. The God in me is going to bring forth what I'm reading and instructed by, just as well as the I am in you, which is in all of us. Adam is Aleph, Dalet, Mem. That Aleph is Yahuwah. He's in you. Now, if you say not, I understand. This conversation ain't for you. You can keep it moving, or you welcome to stay, because obviously something in your spirit leads you here. All right, y'all. Now I'm about to go. But that book applies in a sense where it will awaken you now. When I was in the county, we relied on the word. We fasted and prayed to the Father, and things happened through the word, family. It didn't happen through money or none of that. We was in the mud. He brought us out to Mary Clay. You know, our enemies was praying for our downfall. They was trying to send us to the penitentiary. You know, we were fighting cases, but it was by the grace of the Most High and his servants believing. Because I sure believe I was going to see a move like Paul when he was locked up and Peter. I said, yeah, the Holy Spirit going to come. The angels coming to get me out of here. I told them that the first day, that last case I had while I went in that county. And I ain't been back because I knew. Now I'm awakened. Now, okay, all this knowledge, I'm searching to figure out, okay, who are we? I was searching then in the 90s. Who are we? Is the God of Islam our God? Is the God of Christianity? I left Christianity like around 13, 14, which I was searching, which I was hearing. Because I was hearing Islam like, this is a black God? Family. Jesus black in the Quran. He's surely not white the way they talk about the white man. He and who? Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan, Malcolm X, and I used to hear so many others. A lot of African leaders that were speaking that fire of truth, talking about what the colonizers were doing over there in the land. Man, I was exposed to all that Africa, Moors, the Moors, and the wars they had with the Europeans, the Germanic tribes, not fully knowing the difference in the European tribes, but the wars around that Spanish Inquisition thing, and then it just, who was that? No, Tariq Rashid. His movies in living color came out, and them movies had a lot of doctors who studied. You had archaeology. It was heavy on archaeology and showing your origin. And it had to bring historians, accredited historians, PhDs in other disciplines who were studying, like Dr. Joy DeGruy, post-traumatic slave syndrome, that dealt with the slavery of our ancestors. While you have a lot of people talking about and coming over on the voyage. Oh no, we didn't come over here on ships. Our ancestors, yeah, some of our people running from persecution and came to a land never before dwelled in. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But they came out of everything came out of Africa, family. We came out of Africa. You a Negro, you black, you came out of Africa. Your ancestors migrated. You go and do your DNA and prove you have it. That's what I call you, uh, call to order. Do your DNA and prove you have it. Or that's not even an argument. Are you of the Most High? That's what we fight against flesh and blood, not, but against spiritual wickedness. Spiritual wickedness that causes confusion where people don't know who they are. You are children of the Most High. You are gods, but you shall die like men, like one of the princes. You are children of the Most High God. That's who you are. If you can receive that, then hey, shalom, peace, and blessings to you. And each one teach one. If I don't tell you this, and with all that's been revealed to me, I'm gonna be responsible for it. And you think I'm scared to tell you this truth? I don't think so, family. You're gonna get this raw truth. Right now, we need to depressurize and fast ourselves off of politics. Our governor and king represents the eternal kingdom. He don't have nothing to do with what's going on in the world, although it will affect the world in every good thing. His ways are not, they are not grievous. They are good for you. That's the way you want to go, especially to those who know that they are descendants of those who came out of these things which were spoken because you are special people above all people. If the preacher won't tell you, I have to tell you what God said. These are his words. These are not my words. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. It was a part of their covenant. That's why you can jump out of buildings and everybody want to see you play sports. Everybody want to hear you sing. Everybody want to see you act. Everybody wanted to destroy what you built when they destroyed it in the early times, which we will never forget. This is real history, family. And that history, everything that happened, I'm not harping on, but it speaks to a greater. What do you think? 7 and 6. For thou art a holy people unto Yahuwah thy Elohim. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So when you hear me say you special, I don't mean you special in a bad way like you slow or retarded or none of that. I mean in a good way because you are special. Very special. If the preacher haven't told you, I have. These are God's words, promises of God. Protect, these are his promises. And the promise was that you are special to him. So that's why you can uh, outrun everybody out there on that marathon in the Olympics. That's why you outballing everybody. They want to send you around the world to conquer all nations on the basketball court. That's why you whooping everybody ass in the ring. You know what I'm saying? That's why. That's why you set the agenda so high. What my man said, we the Rolls Royce of sports, music, all that culture. People talking about black people ain't got no culture. We the trendsetters of culture around the world. I was just looking over there at Saudi Arabia on the shorts. They driving Chevys, and they done made a song about Chevys. A song, a spinoff of what a brother done did over here already. I'm like, stop playing. I'm in Chicago. And I'm like, that's how we ride in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Them Chevys and them Chevys they had was clean as hell. 80s box Chevys. I'm like, stop playing. And they couldn't have been no older than 89, 88, 89. I ain't seen no Broms. But yeah, Brohams, not with the tops though. You know they had the tops on, leather tops, suede tops. They had the suede tops. They had the leather encased in the back window like that '90s Brougham Cadillac. That back window is encased, leather casing around the window. That Chevy Brougham is like that too. They got the suede and they got the leather casing. But they don't have. They had the ones with just the leather top. But they was all sitting. You know, the Chevy sit kind of low, not theirs. Theirs was sitting up, and they was clean. I'm like, and you should see in the comments. You got, I like to go in the comments. Comments be off the chain, family. Commenters be off the chain, but then I got to pull back because I'm like, no, I don't think like that. They say some stuff, brothers and sisters. How you come on here saying stuff like that? Ain't no way I do say some of the stuff people be saying. I have a high regard for humanity, a higher regard, you know, until you show me otherwise. I don't think like everybody else, and I have a lot of problems like that. And I'm not like everybody else, and I don't ascribe to be or try to be. I'm trying to be like my heavenly Father created me to be, special. We are a special people unto Him. So with that comes that you got to get on something. You can have all the knowledge in the world I learned. That don't mean people gonna follow you. They have to see you own something. You got to get to that money now. It works hand in hand. I guess when I was young, learning to hustle and hold my own, even out there amongst home reliance, much stronger ones that would have chopped me down back then if they wanted to. But I came through each level I went through, I passed. I passed that test, and now I am where I am. I am that I am in His image and after His likeness. Purpose to do greater in the kingdom. And this heaven and earth gonna pass, but His word gonna stand forever. And when you resting in it, you are greater. Peace and blessings. It's time for me to lay it down. Peace and blessings, and I gotta print this print out. Got a nice Hebrew Israelite print. Y'all gonna see it in the it's gonna be out front. Definitely representing for the kingdom. All day, every day. Chicago, South Side. This is how we moving in motion. Like Judah.